Hi guys, and welcome to another self-proclaimed podcast of Functional Breath. Yesterday I filmed the topic about asthma, and it inspired me a little bit to talk about COVID-19, coronavirus disease. So what is coronavirus? Obviously it attacks the lungs, and hence the reason why I'm talking about it, because there's a couple of things we can do to prevent it, and when we have it also to not to treat, well, to treat it, yes, but not to heal it, obviously. So to make the progression slower and maybe build up our immune system and prevent it from spreading it in the wrong parts of the lungs that can accelerate the bad symptoms and maybe even death. So so what does corona does to you? There's a couple of symptoms when it comes to the lungs. It gives you a bit of a breathlessness. There's less oxygen in the blood, and also there's a surfactant, which is a depletion of surfactant, which is a substance in the alveoli, the little lung sacs, where there's a gas exchange between the lungs and the blood vessels. So that surfactant will deplete, and they become less flexible, and there's less ventilation, and so all right. So I made a bit of a preparation of things we can do, of breathing exercises for, I don't know if you can see, breathing exercises for prevention via breathwork, at least. Yeah. So, and I have another note as well, that's for later. So there's three ways what we can do for prevention. Yeah, we have first off, we need to set a reference. We set a reference by a certain way of a breath hold. It's not the type of breath hold that you see in my course, where we go and explore the maximum breath hold, the CO2 and the O2 tables. This breath hold is just a way to set a reference to see if if we experience more breathlessness over time or not. So we can set it today, and then if you feel like, yeah, I feel tired, I have a bit of a cough, a bit of a headache, I feel I can't breathe so well, maybe should I have corona or not, I'm not sure. So you can just check yourself if your breath hold stays the same or if it goes down, if it goes down consistently, then maybe it's good to see a professional and a health practitioner. Yeah. So how do we do that? We have a sort of breath hold that is defined by Buteco, which I've talked about for nose clearing, but also for asthma, to ventilate the lungs, to open the lungs, and to have better ventilation. Yeah. So how does it go? You just breathe normally. You breathe, you inhale, you exhale to neutral state. So that means that the atmospheric pressure is the same as the pressure in the lungs. Yeah, so that is, you don't have to activate any muscle to keep the lungs inside, to keep the air inside. All right. So we inhale, exhale, and you pinch the nose, and you keep it like that until you feel a medium strong urge to breathe. And when you feel that, you just inhale normally, and you time it, and whatever the number is, you write it down on a piece of paper. So that time is your reference for the times you will do it later as well. You can do it also daily if you really want to. It really doesn't take a lot of time, maybe about a minute or 2 minutes. So it's very easy, very quick to do. Yeah. Big important to know is that you better do this in the morning, and if you do it in the morning, do it all the time in the morning, because if you do it in the afternoon or after breakfast or after dinner, the physiology works in a different way, so it won't be a good reference anymore. So always make a reference towards the same conditions. Yeah. So if we're going to test it out, we are going to test it out in the same way, but you're always going to keep the half of the breath hold of what your reference breath hold is. Why is that? If you do have corona, then obviously you have a bit of breathlessness, and what we don't want you to do is get in a state of a struggle to breathe, you know. So we're just going to do half of it, and then you feel how it feels. And if it always becomes more difficult to do that, then it's not a good sign. If that stays the same, it's a good sign. All right, cool. So that's the first thing we should do. And the second breath work is actually one that is very important, works very well. It's very simple as well, and we call it deep breathing in in the yoga, but we also call it the LSD breathing. It's a reference towards the psychedelic drug, obviously, but it's just an acronym for light, slow, and deep. Yeah. So there we go, the LSD breathing, and yeah, so you want to breathe light, means circular breaths. We want to, when we inhale, we slow down, and we go slowly into an exhale again. So not forcefully, just, yeah, so very circular. The other one is slow. Yeah, we want to do slow breath for two reasons. Yeah, first reason is that we don't want to have too much oxygen in our system. If we do very quick cycles, then we create more and more oxygen in our system. What oxygen does is not very good if you experience breathlessness, because then it's actually a bronchoconstrictor, yeah, and carbon dioxide is a bronchodilator. So that is what we want. So we want to breathe slowly and breathe about half of the breaths per minute. So you should aim about 6 breaths per minute. That means we inhale about 4 to 5 seconds, and we exhale for 4 to 5 seconds as well. Yeah. And then we want to breathe deep. Yeah. So, oh yeah, I forgot another advantage of breathing slowly is that the extra carbon dioxide in our system helps also the oxygen to go into our tissues. Yeah. So into our muscles, into our brain, into all the tissues that requires actually oxygen, and we call that the Bohr effect. Without the carbon dioxide, it's very difficult for oxygen to go from the hemoglobin or red blood cell into the tissues. All right. So the third thing we need to do is breathing deep, and why is that? Because we want to have more air going to the lower parts of the lungs. But also we have about 150 milliliters of dead space, meaning when we breathe in and we breathe out, there will always be air that won't leave the airways, yeah, especially in the nose, the mouth, the trachea, bronchioli. Yeah, that's the part where there's no gas exchange, but also cannot, when you exhale completely, that you cannot exhale because otherwise your lungs will collapse. Yeah, so that is also a reason why we want to inhale deeply, so we can have more, that we can benefit more of every breath we take. Most important part of deep breathing is breathing via the diaphragm and the nose. I have been posting a couple of stuff already what advantages it has about diaphragm and nose breathing. Two things I'm gonna say about it in this video. There is one, breathing via the nose and the diaphragm brings the air to the lower parts of the lungs, which is the biggest part of the lungs and where the most gas exchange occurs. About 2/3 of all the gas exchange happens in the lower part. That's because it's more blood rich because of gravity and such. And the other stuff is that via the nose we release a hormone which is called nitric oxide, and that has quite a lot of benefits actually. Yeah, there we go. Nitric oxide is responsible for vasodilatation, so it is able to bring more nutrients to the tissues, more oxygen to the tissues and stuff like that. And the nitric oxide also enables us to take up oxygen about 10 to 15% more. Yeah, so that is pretty good. It also stimulates surfactant, so again that substance that you see in the alveoli, in the little lung sacs where the gas exchange occurs, that keeps the lungs flexible, yeah, so that it's way better not for the lungs to the alveoli to collapse, and that's also what Covid-19 does. Okay, so but the most important part of nitric oxide that is that it sterilizes the air, so it's really a super good defense mechanism against viruses. Yeah. All right, so another part, a third exercise that we can do is a humming. You can also refer it to Om breathing in yoga. It has a lot of benefits, and not only on the lungs, also on digestion and everything like that. In my course we do this exercise as well, and I explain completely what benefits you have from A to Z. So that's pretty an intense, well, not an intense, but a very good exercise. Yeah. The biggest part why this is interesting for COVID and Corona prevention is that it releases about 7 to 15 times more nitric oxide if we breathe like that. Yeah. So when we breathe, we go like, we inhale and we make an Om sound. Om. And you can do that for whatever suits for you, whatever feels comfortable. You can do it for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever works for you. The most important part is that after your own breath, you take a deep inhale via the nose again, and then you create that nitric oxide boost, let's say. So we go inhale, exhale, Om. And you see again when you exhale, and you exhale quite long, it's a slower cycle of your breath. So even though you take a deep inhale via the nose, you won't create too much oxygen in your blood, and you still have enough CO2 or carbon dioxide to keep the bronchioli open. Yeah. All right. So. So these the three breathwork breathing exercises for prevention is one, to set a reference with a breath hold. Yeah, you can do that. Inhale, exhale, neutral state, pinch the nose, and hold it, and time it. Yeah, if you do it as a test, if you are doing well, you can always do it half of the time of what your reference was. All right. The LSD or deep breathing, you can do that as long as you want. It's only a good thing for you. So I would say do it between 2 and 5 minutes at least. You can go to 10 to 15 to 20 minutes even. It's very, very chilled. So 6 breaths per minute, about 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Yeah. And then we have the humming. You inhale via the nose. You do Om, exhale, controlled. It also has a lot of benefits for your mental state of mind. And then after you inhale via the nose to get this nitric oxide boost. All right. So when we come at treatments, You can see, yeah. Treatments, there's a couple of things. I looked it up. I didn't know that before, but you have some doctors and so that really recommends this this type of breath work when you have corona, or when you think you have corona, to open up the lungs and to expel a lot of pathogens, including viruses. Yeah. So what we are doing is we have 2 cycles, sorry. So we inhale and we hold it for about 5 counts, or 5 seconds. And we exhale. And we repeat this for 5 times. So again. Exhale. There's no hold after the exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale, number 4. Exhale. Number 5. Inhale. Exhale. And now we do a big huff. Inhale. All right, so that cough really improves makes the pressure inside the lungs very high. So in a very instant reaction of the lungs, they will expand. So all the airways will dilate for a moment. And because of the cough, we cough as much mucus and pathogens out as well, all the undesired stuff. So it's not gonna treat you from coronavirus, obviously, but it really does prevent, if you, for example, infected, that the virus is, for example, not really going through to the lungs or finds its way through the lungs, because that is where the shit is starting to hit the fan. But then you can just cough it out if it's still maybe in the throat or the nasal airways. Yeah, so in the end of the day, it gives you a bit more time to go to find a professional or to go to the doctor and to be there in an early stage, right? So this is something we do twice, so you can do that every day. It doesn't matter if you don't have it, you can't do anything wrong with doing these kind of exercises, all right? So if you have it, if you think you have it, you're not sure, a very good thing to do is laying on your belly. Yeah, if you feel sick, a lot of people go and lay in supine position on their back. The problem is that our lungs, so the bigger parts of our lungs are actually on the back, and if we lay on our back, we restrict the airways there, and even to a certain degree that they can collapse as well. And obviously that is very bad for the virus, because they actually have a good chance to evolve and do a lot of damage. So we don't want to lay on our back. We just want to lay on your belly. Also, the virus doesn't sink into the biggest part of your lung. Keep them away from that part, and just lay on your belly and move as well as much as you can. Try not to lay the whole time. The whole purpose is to ventilate the lungs and to get it out, not to lay all the time on your back doing nothing, and actually give the chance for the infected part to become even worse, and I don't know how you say it in English, but in Flemish you say a broeihaard of germs and viruses and all the bad stuff. So yeah, the third thing is just move around. You just move, you kind of try to, you don't have to do sports, but at least move, you walk a bit, or you you move your do some flexibility exercises, or do some exercises that I show you in our course that I'm selling as well, for breathing for everyday life and breathing for enhancing your sport performances. Yeah, and don't forget, guys, always in any case, you have to drink water and hydrate. Viruses, they don't like that. Viruses, they don't want you to be hydrated, so they can spread easier and do some more damage. So always hydrate as much as you can, and yeah, expel all the dirty stuff from your body and toxins and all these kind of shit, literally shit. So I hope you learned something from this, and if you like this video, please always follow me on whatever social media you see this video. Also, if you're on YouTube, just click down below and subscribe, or click on the bell so you get notifications when I release a new video. Really appreciate you guys, and I hope you have an inspired day. And don't forget, if you want to have more information, click on one of these videos here. I talk about asthma and how to do some breath work for that. And yeah, I have shitloads of movies or clippies about all kinds of stuff. So also, if you want to improve your breath work for everyday life, to take back control of your own life, your state of mind, be healthy, and improve your sport performances as well for endurance, but as well for immediate instant strength, then you can obviously click down below on the link or in my bio. There you find a web page where you find all the details of my course, an 8-week follow along video class. All right, cheers dudes and chickies.